Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program, the administration releases its so-called narco list ahead of the midterm elections.
My decision to unmask these drug personalities was anchored on my trust in the government agencies who have vetted and validated the narco list.
But some politicians deny allegations of their involvement in illegal drugs.
Wala ka namang iba may isip sir kung hindi politika. Ang timing alone, we are a little over a month from election.
How did the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency validate the list?
Ang point lang naman natin dito, it's the information that's coming to us based on the developments that are happening right now.
And will due process be observed for alleged narco politicians? PDEA Spokesperson Derrick Carreon joins us live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. President Duterte has said administrative cases have been filed against local officials tagged as narco politicians. Authorities now admit they do not have sufficient evidence to file criminal charges against them. Our George Cahiles has that story.
I'm not really interested in releasing it before or after the elections because I do not have the slightest intention to hurt anybody or to be a cause of the failure of an election of a certain man who wants to serve the public.
The president did it again. He named local officials allegedly involved in illegal drugs. Based on the Interior Department's list, 46 politicians are in the vetted narco list, and administrative charges were filed against them.
It was explained to us by PDEA that these individuals are allegedly involved in the illegal drug trade as either financiers or protectors of drug personalities.
Authorities have yet to gather solid pieces of evidence to file criminal charges against the 46 local officials. But the PNP clarifies that they are still building up cases against the supposed narco politicians.
Ang Pangulo ay nagdesisyon na talagang ito ay ilahad na ang mga pangalan at ang tanging tungkulin ng PNP ay magpatuloy na mangalap ng impormasyon, mag-validate, verify information.
Based on the PNP data, they already filed drug-related criminal cases against 157 local officials since 2016. Most of them are barangay officials who were caught red-handed during buy-bust operations. International group Human Rights Watch says the release of the narco list is an attempt to influence local elections in May. Also, the president's list allegedly deprives those named of due process and the presumption of innocence. But the Interior Department clarifies that the release of the names is not politically motivated. They just acted based on the information that they received from law enforcement agencies.
If this was politically motivated, then you would not find a single party mate of the president there.
Based on the COMELEC's list of candidates in the midterm polls, of the 46 names in the narco list, at least 35 are running for various local posts. Of them, at least 8 are party mates of the president in PDP Laban.
I can understand that they would want to prove their innocence. So I think with the filing of charges in the ombudsman, the venue has been determined.
The Interior Department will ask the National Police Commission members to convene to remove the police powers of the incumbent officials in the narco list. George Cahiles, CNN Philippines.
Let's go straight to the source of the story. PDEA Spokesperson Derrick Carreon. Director, good morning. Welcome to the show. So it's the narco list. First is really, we want to find out how the process was in coming up with this narco list.
Yes, ma'am. It was a grueling 14 months of continuous validation and revalidation. And para po malinaw sa perspective ng tao, hindi po kami lamang ang gumagalaw dito. It was an interagency task force composed of 4 intelligence agencies and the 5th being the Department of the Interior and Local Government dahil sila po yung may functional supervision sa mga LGUs.
Who spearheaded it though? Saan nag-uumpisa ito?
Okay. PDEA is the lead agency in the task force. But of course, kung gugunitain po natin kung paano nagsimula ito, this was the original list na isinumiti ng mga intelligence agencies sa ating Pangulo nung kauupo niya lamang po, nung July. And dahil nga po, kumbaga, naging smorgasbord ito, ang dami. Minabuti po nilang ibaba ulit sa mga field units sa amin so that malaman nga, kasi di ba nung una, mayroon palang patay na, mayroon yung mga, kumbaga, para for further vetting and validation.
Right. Maraming problema dun sa original list. So what happened was binalik sa inyo at sinabi, PDEA, take the lead. I want you to vet this list.
Basically, ganun po. Kasi nga, we're the lead agency. But then, hindi naman po pwedeng kami lamang dahil yung holdings nga po nanggaling sa iba't iba eh. So, nagkaroon po ng task force. It's composed of the PDEA, the National Intelligence Coordinating Agency.
NICA.
Yes. The Philippine National Police. The Intelligence Service of the Armed Forces of the
AFP.
Philippines is part of it. Siyempre kasi malawak ang network po ng ISAP sa intelligence. And then yun nga, kapag involved po ang LGUs, definitely kailangan yung tulong ng DILG.
So, help me understand the process. Sa dami ng kasama, you have the AFP, you have the PNP, you have the PDEA, you have the LGU. Where does it begin?
Workshop po yan eh. Workshop type. Kunwari, when our secretariat calls for the validation workshop, o dapat yan, lahat ng agencies sa participating, kunwari, today, we are set to validate the following names. Probably if you, dahil sa haba ng proseso, sabihin nyo na, kasi hindi ko alam yung actual ma'am, hindi ako sumasama. Pero ang sinabi nila, ganito yan eh. Kunwari, 5-10 names tayo ngayon, will take all day. O di, isa-isa yan ma'am, talagang kukutuhin. Nika, what do you have? ISAP, what do you have? Kami, ito ang meron sa amin. PNP, do you have anything?
Pagdating nyo dun sa inyong meeting, nagko-cross-validate na
Yes,
kayo.
ma'am.
Pero meron na kayong hawak na ebidensya.
Opo, supposedly meron yan.
So, pwedeng ibang hawak ng PDEA, let's say, a mayor, pwedeng positive kay PDEA, negative sa PNP, positive kay AFP, ganon?
Yes, ma'am.
That's a possibility.
So, kailangan talaga, teka muna, o kaya pag hindi nagtugma, sandali, ibaba niyo uli. So you could imagine yung tagal na, balik nyo nga doon sa field unit, kung saang lugar yan, Visayas, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, o back to the ground, o back to square one.
But when you say back to square one, who takes the lead doon sa back on the ground, doon sa initial, doon sa legwork?
Bali,
PDEA yan?
kung kunwari ma'am, kung sino yung unit na walang holdings, tingnan nyo nga kung tama rin yung findings namin. Kasi kumbaga ganun, i-cross-check nyo nga. Kaya sabi nga ni Director General Aaron Aquino, maganda itong proseso na may check and balance.
Yeah.
Hindi po pwedeng just because sinabi ng isa, okay na.
Yeah, so you're saying 14 months because from the time the President announced it, when he sat as President, nung nanalo
Yes,
po
ma'am.
siya, ito yung sinasabi ninyong, well, eventually 14 months after. May I ask why, sir, 14 months since the President has been sitting the past 3 years? Kailan ho ninyo nakuha? Just the last 14 months ago. Ganun ho ba yun?
Yes, ma'am. Yung validation, yung simula ng cross-validation natin, hindi kaagad ito binabasa amin eh. So, kumbaga, it took a while. And mabuti na rin na ibaba.
Is it good though that the PDEA is the one taking the lead?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, you complain na, hindi man complain, syempre merong shortcoming ang PDEA in terms of staffing. Di ba sinasabi niyo kulang din kayo sa tao? Tapos ngayon, kayo pang taking the lead and validating this.
By mandate po kasi ma'am lead agency as mandated under Republic Act 9165. So definitely, by virtue of law, hindi po pwedeng iwasan ang trabaho.
Director, ilan ho yung originally nasa narco list? Nung nakuha ninyo 14 months ago?
From what we heard, I'm not sure about the total timetable, ma'am, but it's somewhere within that time of 14 or maybe a little earlier than 14. Baka mahigit 3,000 ang nasabi sa akin. And dahil natuloy-tuloy po ang pag-validate at yung pag-cross-check between agencies, I heard the list has grown to something like more than 5,000 now. Kasi hindi naman po ito purely people in government. It's people from the public and the private sector who have involvement in illegal drugs. So may miyembro dyan ng local drug trafficking organization, meron dyan may tie-up sa sindikato sa labas ng bansa, may people from the uniform service or law enforcers like us, meron din pong private citizen na may pera o financier like I would surmise yung network ng sa party drugs and yung shabu distribution network kasama dyan.
Because yung pinag-usapan po natin. So you're saying that it's actually a total of 6,000
Almost, more or less 6,000.
of all. Kasi ang unang list obviously is called narco, alleged narco politicians, politiko na involved sa illegal drugs. Sir, when you talk about evidence that is gathered, what is the most important piece of evidence to ascertain that this person is involved in drugs?
In terms of the alleged politicians?
Yes.
Kasi ma'am, ganito yan. Nabanggit natin to earlier on nung tayo natanong din. Kaya nga po intelligence-based yung information. Most, if not all, are either financiers, protectors, or cuddlers, and or financiers.
Yes.
So, ibig sabihin, kung aasahan po natin na itong mga to, based on their stature, makikipag-transaction ng ganyan. Medyo mukhang malayo.
And it's not small time, obviously.
Opo.
Okay.
So, if you're going to expect somebody of their stature to be involved in an actual deal, it's far-fetched. What matters most to us would be tracing their involvement in terms of perhaps the money trail or in terms of a lifestyle check.
But you don't have that yet, sir, because you've already just asked help from the AMLAC. Di ba, and the PAGC?
We have sought their help dahil, kumbaga, may initial kami, but it needs, kumbaga, additional effort
Yes.
to trace talaga yung linkages niya.
Correct, but the AMLAC has not gotten back to you has not given you any information regarding this 46, right, sir?
Wala, we have yet to set another meeting by next week.
So wala pa. Hindi pa na-involve. I know that you already asked for the help of AMLAC. In fact, the Director General was saying that that's really important for a case build-up.
Opo.
Because in fact, we had him before, Director, and sabi nga niya, he's not really for releasing this narco list. He actually calls this a death list. Let's go back to what the Director General, Aaron Aquino, told us here on The Source.
May experience ako ng barangay election. Marami nagsasabi it will become a death list pag ipinilabas ko yan. Another one is that lalo na magkakagulo. Alam naman ng taong bayan sa totoo lang, kung ikaw ay nakatira sa isang munisipyo, alam mo kung yung mayor mo involved sa drugs.
Alam ng barangay.
Alam ng barangay. Alam lahat kung sino yung, kung bakit yumaman yan, kung bakit ganito, anong ginagawa. Bakit nyo pa iboboto? Kung yung mayor nyo isang kriminal, isang katutak ding korap, tapos involved sa illegal drugs, sino pa naman ang boboto sa mayor na yun?
Your reaction to that, sir? Are you with the Director General in not wanting to release yung personally?
Personally, ma'am, yes.
Kayo din?
Kasi nga po, yun, nasabi na ni Director General Aaron Aquino, may mga kumbaga, unscrupulous quarters na maaaring gamitin ito as a tool to conduct, these unwanted, we ourselves from law enforcement, we were not for it. Yung kunwari, gagamitin lang reference yan, and then kaliwat kanan, walang habas nilang papatayin yung mga yan. Tapos ang sisi sa amin babagsak or sa kapulisan or...
Because sa inyo nang galing yung lista.
Opo, sa amin. Pero siyempre, we yield to a higher authority. And the purpose of which was already mentioned, and besides hearing the public clamor on it, kami po'y, nandyan na. Susunod kami sa kautusan.
We'll be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Still to come, more on the narco list. How many more names will be added before the 2019 polls? PDEA Spokesperson Derrick Carreon will still be with us after the break. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, PDEA Spokesperson Derrick Carreon. Sir, ilan ho ba talaga? Because last I heard, there were supposed to be about 96 names. Can you explain this to us? At bakit 46 lang ang lumabas?
Okay, yung 46 pong ito lang yung inabot talaga nung validation and revalidation namin na kumbaga, sige, safe na bitawan. Dahil kumbaga, hanggang, kailan ba yun? Last week, bago nangyari po ito, Monday, narinig ko, nakaupo pa rin yung workshop until a few days before the final announcement nung Friday po. So kumbaga talagang napakahirap kasi talaga, maniguro tayo, mahirap yung ano. Yan po. And then, yes, I heard there was 96 before. May nabawas pong more or less 10 dahil may 4 na nahuli, apat na namatay during police operations or law enforcement operations, 4 na namatay through natural death, and about 2 who were arrested. So it brought down the number to 86. And then a little way before itong recent na validation natin, may nahuli uling 2, and then namatay na 2.
So 82.
So 82.
Aha.
Yun po.
So 82 pero 46 lang ang nalabas because ito yung parang
Yan po yung nasala.
nasala ninyo.
Yes, ma'am.
Lalabas ho ba yung kailan ilalabas yung remaining or they're still up for validation, revalidation,
Yes, ma'am.
reevaluation?
There's the process of revalidation and vetting is still ongoing, and even case build-up as well.
Yeah.
It's up to the president if he will decide again to bring out another list.
But are you ready to release that list?
As of the moment, hindi pa po.
Okay. What is the biggest challenge in vetting people in the narco list, sir?
Yun nga po, yung pag hindi nagtugma ang
Yung sa
intel natin, balik yan sa ground. Ganun talaga. Hindi natin pwede madaliin ito. And it takes time
How-
to do legwork on it.
How certain are you about this 46, sir?
Ayan po talagang, kumbaga, as far as intelligence is concerned, yan yung, kung may code yan, yan na tinatawag na A1, and then may XYZ pa yan eh. It's been a while since I done my homework on Intel, but yan yung tinatawag na A1 plus validated by or verified by other agencies.
Can we just call it A1
Yes, I guess.
list?
Yes, as far as the category of the 46 are concerned.
And when you say A1, ibig sabihin ito para bang foolproof siya?
Kumbaga-
Walang pagkakamali dito?
Yes, kumbaga sinala na po ng iba't ibang intelligence agencies. Hindi very far-fetched na magkamali ka pa rito. So there were some questions about nagkaroon ng typo. Nung tiningnan po namin yung binigay namin sa Office of the President and then sa SILG, wala naman typo doon. Somebody must have retyped it along the way. So yung Rosento naging Rosente. Siguro for the purpose of readability. We can only guess kung ano yung nangyari.
You cross-checked that and
Yes, ma'am.
you saw the original.
The original
There was no
draft says
typographical
there was
error.
no typo.
Okay. Some people, sir, of course came out, defended themselves.
Which is
Let-
their right.
Which is their absolute right. 46, there were 3 congressmen, 35 mayors, there are 7 vice mayors, and a provincial board member. One of them, a congressman, who defended himself and said that he will file a case against those responsible for this. That's Congressman Ching Veloso. Let's listen to what he said.
Wala ka namang ibang may isip, sir, kung hindi politika. Ang timing alone, we are a little over a month from election. Bakit hindi ito nilabas noon na may session pa kami? Ito lang akin, huwag niyong gamitin ng presidente as bulletproof vest. Bakit hindi niyo nihabla itong mga nasa listahan, yung talagang sa criminal proceeding? Because if they have been violating the anti-drugs law, dapat nakakulong na yan.
I'd like you to react to what the congressman was saying. A number of things, sir. Politika, huwag niyong gamitin ng Pangulo, etc., sir.
Well, pinaliwanag din naman po ng mahal na Pangulo yan na, kumbaga, it's not his intention to do any damage to anyone. It's just that that's as it is. The list is what it is. So, I guess, nandun na tayo. Mahirap naman pong kontrahin natin yung pananaw ng ating kagalang-galang na congressman. It's his right to react in that manner.
Director, would you submit that this would have been more, I don't know, foolproof probably if you had the AMLAC's investigation part of your case already, sir?
Perhaps it would have. But, kumbaga, hindi pa naman huli. Nandyan na po sila, nagsimula na, nagtutulungan na po tayo.
But it would have been better kung nasama na yung AMLAC. Kasi doon mo makikita yung possibly yung money.
Napakahirap kasi, ma'am, na yun nga, kung aasahan mong magkakaroon ng actual transaction ng mga ganitong stature. Diyan mo lang sila talaga pwedeng makita eh. Sa yung money trail or kung sakaling hindi may paliwanag na kayamanan.
Yeah. So again, meron naman po nagtatanong, bakit daw admin at hindi criminal?
Yun po yung kumbaga, immediate na kaya natin gawin at this point. Kasi may mga kapabayaan on the ground in terms of, for instance, yung functionality ng anti-drug abuse councils nila, what concrete steps have they taken in support of the anti-drug campaign in their respective localities. So clearly, doon pwede silang makasuhan for yung tinatawag na neglect of duty, or conduct prejudicial to the best interest of the service, grave misconduct.
So parang yun ang pinakaunang first step na pwede mong kasuhan, kaya nandun lang kayo dun sa admin
Yes,
case.
but without prejudice to the eventual filing of appropriate cases. Kasi under Republic Act 9165, meron naman po talaga yung tinatawag na protector or coddler.
Pero ang ibig ho sabihin ba, itong 46 ay automatic na ho ba yung protector or coddler?
Most of them are in that category.
Most or all? All.
I would probably, I'd go out on a limb to say all. Kung hindi natin sila makukuhanan ng transaksyon, doon na babagsak yun.
Because parang, sir, kung ganun din po ang sinasabi nyo, di dapat admin at criminal na ho yan. Automatic na rin yan. Pero parang what you're saying is you're just gathering more evidence.
Yes, ma'am. Kasi intelligence-based evidence would not hold water in court.
How soon can you get information or assistance? Well, you asked for assistance already, but how can you get more information from the AMLAC regarding the 46, sir?
Well, we're going to do more frequent workshops and meetings with them. We're hoping it will be sooner rather than later. Kasi, kumbaga,
Kailangan niyo sila eh.
all eyes are on us now. Kasi, we know that. And sabi nga po ni Director General Aaron Aquino, tuloy-tuloy lang tayo.
How about wiretapped sources? Is this true, sir? Meron ho ba talagang nagamit dito na wiretap?
Hindi ho namin, we're not privy to that detail. Even our Director General said, parang hindi ko rin alam yan.
But how can you not be privy if you're the one spearheading this campaign?
As far as we're concerned, we didn't do any wiretaps on this. These were just human intelligence, talagang legwork on the ground.
So no wiretapped sources and no wiretapped sources from a foreign country.
Oo, ma'am, kasi unang-una, hindi pa aprobado yung panukala na, we've made representation in both the House of Representatives and in the Senate for the amendment of Republic Act 4200 para maisama po yung,
Anti-wiretapping law.
para po maisama sana yung drugs as a part of the crimes na pwedeng i-exempt.
Kasi hindi pa siya exempted
Hindi pa
ngayon.
po.
Ang
Kaya nga,
drugs,
kung sasabihin natin na gano'n, mukhang makakapag-
illegal na siya, right there and then.
Yes, ma'am.
So, kung ginawa niyo man yun, hindi niyo pwedeng aminin.
Hindi po.
Hindi, sir, hindi niyo pwedeng aminin kasi illegal yun.
Hindi po namin ginawa. Sinasabi ko na.
Okay, we'll be taking another short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, PDEA Spokesperson Derrick Carreon. Sir, how do you, as a PDEA agent, as an individual, actually balance the public's right to know, which is what the President is arguing, na kailangan sabihin sa tao, versus the presumption of innocence until proven otherwise?
Well, kaya nga po kinasuhan sila administratively at least so that they will have an avenue to answer. Yun nga, there's clamor from the public kasi rin na sabihin nyo sa amin kung sino yan. Although yun nga, nakita nyo naman yung stand nung una ng ating Director General.
Yeah.
But then,
in fact, the Director General is saying, alam naman ng tao sinong involved sa drugs. So why
kumbaga,
they need to do this?
They're
Really?
probably seeking affirmation from another
You think
side
so?
from the side of government. Yun na lang po maiisip namin. Pero ikaw ba naman ang tao na matagal ka nang nakatira dyan? Yung mga leaders nyo, siguro kahit paano, naririnig nyo na yung mga bulong-bulungan from the barangay up to your local government officials.
Okay. Sir, okay. The next batch, do you have any idea when possibly ilalabas ito na narco politicians? Alleged narco politicians.
At the moment, I really have no inkling as to when, but I'm sure that the process is still ongoing. And we will just continue doing our work alongside this kasi. This is not just the job that we do, but nakikita nyo naman, every day there are operations happening nationwide. So I guess we just have to keep doing our work on one side in intelligence and at the same time conducting operations on those targets that are already ripe for the picking.
You talked about 3,000 to 6,000 people involved, but not just narco politicians, no, sir. Pero ang lumabas kasi, ang pinakamataas ay congressman. Doon po ba sa listahan na nakita nyo, meron po bang mas mataas pa sa congressman nakasali sa narco list?
Hindi ko nga nakita yung listahan, kaya hindi ko rin masabi.
All right, let's move on though. Very important, of course, the gains of the
Yes,
PDEA.
ma'am.
There have been a number of them so far. Ecstasy drugs being confiscated, shabu. There was about 3 million in party drugs in a buy bust in a Makati condo, and also there was a shootout last Monday with who was supposed to be the
Major supplier of party drugs.
Okay, tell us more about that, sir.
Well, Steve Pasion, called himself the Pablo Escobar of party drugs, if that was what I heard correctly. Ano po siya malakas ang loob ng bata, as visuals will show here. He even goes online and shows his wares to his would-be clientele.
What do you mean wares? Ano wares?
Yan ho. They're both party drugs in pills and in liquid form. Ayan po, liquid ecstasy. In fact, Unfortunately, hindi natin ma-open yung, may video pa yan na medyo graphic, na pinatakan niya yung basong hawak niya, uminom siya, and then binubuhos niya dun sa already experiencing a seizure na kasama nila na babae.
What is that? You found that in his
Cell
possession?
phone, in his mobile phone.
Oh, yun ang lumabas
He had
doon.
about 2 or 3 mobile phones. He destroyed one of them and then may na-recover kaming 2 others. Yun po yung na-recover namin sa kanyang telepono on top of other chat messages and text messages showing actual transactions.
In fact, this was a shootout, sir.
Yes,
with,
ma'am, it was.
That individual. So, from what I read, sir, kinuha niya yung baril ng isang agent, allegedly, ganun ba?
Bale, ang nangyari po, may baril siya. After the buy-bust was consummated, he ran to his vehicle, closed the driver's side, and locked it, so that when our operatives breached the driver's side, he slid over to the passenger side. And in fact, used his partner as a human shield initially. So nung ni-rush up ng mga ahente yung other side ng sasakyan, fortunately, and this is in a matter of seconds. Mabilis po ito, mama. Fortunately, nakuha yung babae. Yung bandang kinasuhan natin.
Yeah, okay.
And so, nung sinalubong na siya ng operatiba, hinawakan niya yung kamay. Hinawakan po niya dahil yun yung may baril. And then, at the same time, going for his own firearm.
Naputukan siya.
And that's it.
All right. Again, we've run out of time, though, sir. But there are other accomplishments of the PDEA, which I even saw in your website. You update that all the time.
Yes,
so
ma'am,
for
we do.
those who might be interested, you can look at the PDEA website. We'd like to thank you, the spokesperson of the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency,
very
Derrick
much
Carreon. Sir, maraming salamat
Thank
po.
you very much, ma'am. On behalf of Director General Aaron Aquino, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.